Welcome to the 2020 DFW Solar Tour. My name is Robert Litwins. I'm a board member at NT-REG and volunteer with the organization, have been for a few years now. I'm going to moderate this session, and I am actually going to host this session as well as a participant or a knowledgeable person, I guess, as far as the Plano Environmental Education Center. Just a few thank yous as we get going here. We want to definitely thank our Terawatt sponsor, Dallas College, this year for the 20 virtual tour. We also want to thank the homeowners that have put together information for the tour this year. And welcoming everybody virtually into their residence. We also want to thank NT-REG, obviously, for putting on this event. This is the 11th year that the Solar Tour has been an event, and we're looking forward to more years. This year is definitely different, being virtual, so bear with us while we go through that new process. And then thanks for everyone on the call for attending the Zoom meeting and really doing a lot of good sustainable work out there. Hopefully everyone has some ideas in their head and are doing things out there for sustainability. All right, just a little brief Zoom etiquette. The Q&A session is scheduled for 30 minutes. We're a little bit less than that now that we're started. We can go a little bit over if we need to. Everybody, please mute their mics when you're not speaking. The meeting is being recorded, so it will be posted at some time later on and available for people to watch. When you want to ask a question, unmute your mic, or you can actually use the chat as well. It's a good method for getting questions out there. All right, I think we've got 4 or 5 participants now. So the Plano Environmental Education Center, and again, I'm the moderator and kind of the host for this site. We could not get a Plano city representative. They were very busy with other tours in that this weekend. So I've been involved with the Plano Education Center, though, for a number of years now, and know most of the background on it. And so I'm going to give you a few highlights of the Plano Education Center, and then hopefully everybody's had a chance to watch the YouTube video that we have out there. We shot some drone footage last week, which was pretty exciting. So it's unedited footage. We will get it edited eventually. But
installer?
Yes.
Join the meeting.
Oh. That was somebody joining the meeting. I got a notification. So anyway, the footage is out there on YouTube. It's raw footage, but it's pretty neat stuff. So if you get a chance, get out there and look at that. And it's pretty exciting. So the Plano Environmental Education Center was originally built in 2010. It is a LEED Platinum certified, I believe the only LEED Platinum certified building in Plano at this time. Gary Ope was the designer. I don't have a lot of information, but I think he's pretty well known out there, and you can go out there and find information on him. But he was the one who was involved in the beginning with Plano to put this site together. As far as renewables go, it has a 10.25 kilowatt solar array that's built on a carport or a car covering. The array is REC 225 watt panels. It used to be an N-phase microinverter system, but they converted it over to a central inverter system in 2018. The power, excess power, or they get their power, their representative is Reliant. They very rarely send power back to the grid because it's a multi-site metered site. So they don't send energy back to the grid. It's used basically on site, everything. The inverters are SMA Sunny Boy inverters. Again, they used to be N-phase microinverters in the past. There's a control system and monitoring system from Johnson Controls. The building itself, again, look at the videos. It's a really neat building. It's passive solar design, so it's built to capture passive energy in the winter months, and then not capture it in the summer months and reject it. So the windows and the overhangs on the roof and that are set up to do that. It also has a wind turbine on site, which is unusual in a city, but they are commercial sites. So they have a 60-foot tall 3.7 kilowatt Windstream or SkyStream turbine that generates energy for on-site as well. Other features are solar hot water. This was done by Fisher Renewables. They have metal and living roofs, so they actually have a living roof on this structure, as well as metal roofs to do rainwater catchment. And they have some very large tanks for rainwater catchment in the back. Again, in the videos, you'll see those things. They also have an EV charging station, a Blink charging station. And one of the highlights of the site is all the landscaping. It's all Texas Smartscape. They compost with local compost from Texas Pure. It's a really fascinating site as far as the landscaping goes. And even during these times, you can still go to this site and visit publicly. You can walk around outside. You can't go inside the building right now, but they do rent it when it's available, and they can do that. But right now, you still can't go around and visit the site. So I encourage everyone to take a trip out there one day and walk around these gardens and landscaping. It's really beautiful. Those are some of the highlights of the site. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to questions, and we can go from there. If you want to use a chat for questions, that's great. Or if you want to just unmute and ask questions, let's get that started. So let's go to question and answer at this point. I will stop talking. All right, let's see here. Chat, there's the chat. Mr. Ornstein there. Okay. All right, no questions so far? All right. Okay, not sure where we go from here. That is really the extent of the Plano Environmental Education Center. Again, check the site out, even if you just go down and walk around the gardens, but you'll enjoy it. It is a wonderful site with lots of renewable and sustainable features. It's definitely a highlight of the Plano area and the tour. It's been on the tour quite a bit in the past. So,
Bob, this is Eric Pratt. I just had a question about the. You were saying the solar array is over like a carport. Yes.
It is over a carport. The array actually does not face south. It's east facing or southeast facing array. So they did that because the carport and the parking area fit the way it fit on the piece of property. Didn't quite, they couldn't face it south. But since the array is not a huge source of energy for all these sites, and that wasn't a problem. So, but yeah, it's got a beautiful carport built there with panels on there.
Would you know who built it and put the solar on it? I'm considering putting a structure up for solar panels because I don't have a good roof for a solar array.
Great idea. Yeah. I don't know actually who built the carport structure. It was Axiom Solar that did the solar array on it. They probably contracted with, that's a very good question though. I can follow up and find out who actually built the carport structure. At that time in 2010, there weren't a lot of solar companies actually doing solar canopy type structures. And I know Axiom did not do that themselves at that time. So I'm almost certain they contracted that out. That's a good question.
Sure, thank you. I haven't found many even today, although I hear that Sunrun is starting or intending to do it. I'm not sure if they're doing that yet. As a whole, rather than being the contractor for a solar electric company and a company that will build the structure and trying to mediate the issues between the two, I was hoping to find someone who already has some experience and can do the whole thing.
Yeah, and that is a good question. Around the North Texas area, I think you're right. There aren't a whole lot of those contractors who do all that together. But that's something we can follow up on and find out a little bit more. I do get a few emails from the national perspective of companies that are doing that, but I don't know if they're in this area or not.
Great, thank you.
Sure. All right. Well, we got a lot of NT-Reggers on here, I see. Any other questions? Paula, I don't recognize your name. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, if there aren't any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and I'll keep the call open, but whoever wants to drop off, they can drop off at this point, and we will keep the recording going. I'll wait a few more minutes. Our allotted time slot ends at 11 o'clock, so we do have until then. So,
Bob, I've got a random question that's got nothing really to do with the solar.
Yeah.
Is there a classroom in the Plano Ecology Center?
Plano Environmental Education Center? Yes,
Yes,
actually, it's a presentation area, and that's a great question, Steve. In the past, when we've held our solar tour, we've used that area for presentations, and it can be rented. The facility rents for all kinds of different things, weddings, presentations, educational opportunities, you know, for all kinds of different groups. The whole place is a big educational opportunity for young people as well, especially with the stuff going on outside. But yeah, the facility was really built around a central presentation area. It has a small kitchen off to the side of it, and the bathrooms are under cover on the outside, but the main thing is a presentation center. So good question.
Great, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, there's a lot of information on the Plano Environmental Education Center out there on their website, on the Plano City site as well. It has information on how to rent the facility and you know, things that are going on there. It's a fun place to go. So. All right.
This is James Ornstein. So
Hey,
I apologize because this is probably answered on the fact sheet and I don't remember what it said, but so is the center in CoServe or Encore?
That's actually Encore. Yes, it's Reliant actually. They get their power from, and I probably was explaining right before you got on, James. They don't overproduce. This site is metered with a couple other big facilities in the same area. So if they do export energy, it's very rare. So I don't even think they have a buyback plan with the power that they're buying from Reliant.
Well, actually, what I'm more interested in is what the utilities policy is towards distributed generation. So if it was CoServe, that would be a different story. But in Encore, I think we all know it's kind of complicated. So
yeah. Yeah, good point.
And do you know if they've ever considered upgrading and adding some battery storage, since that's the thing these days, especially if you want to, some people look at doing resiliency centers for if you have a city facility like that.
Yeah, I don't think they have. again, in 2018, they had to actually put a little bit more into the solar system by putting new central inverters in. But I don't know, I don't think they've ever considered battery backup. But that's a good question. I haven't asked them, in the last couple of years, whether they, have ever thought about that. I think the site is pretty sustainable on its own as it is, and they don't look at it as a backup, type facility. But it's a good question.
The final part of that is, so they had a presentation on electric vehicle charging, and somebody from the city of Plano was there and talking about how they have some kind of sustainability plan and how the electric vehicle stuff fit into that. So do you have any idea if the sustainability plan would address that sort of thing? Like the city of Dallas and their CCAP, they talk about wanting to put solar in and having like facilities that they call resiliency centers. So I don't know if the city is looking at that at all.
No, I don't think so, but I don't know. I'm not sure. It could be part of their STAR. They are a STAR certified city, so that could be part of their recertification moving forward to have resiliency centers like that. That's a very interesting point, though. Yeah, I'll have to ask the city sustainability department whether that is on their radar or not, because
sorry to put you on the spot since you're not.
No, that's fine. I know you've been looking at the Dallas CCAP stuff a lot, and honestly, I haven't looked at the details of that, and in that respect, I think Dallas is certainly ahead of the curve in that situation. So, but it's a good question for Plano. Where do they go now? And yeah. So I'll ask about it and see if they have any plans for that type of stuff. Yep. Thank you. Anybody else? Melon, any questions? Melon's staying on mute. He's just viewing. All right, Steve, it's good to see you. Paula, thank you for joining. We really appreciate it. We hope you get to do the virtual tours on some of the other sites. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to do that yet or not, but there's some great sites out there, some very, very knowledgeable homeowners, and so it's a good lineup this year.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
Okay.
We'll see you later.
All right. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob.
Bye-bye.